Why not give yourself the proof to back up the story? Am I Jonah Jang?
Why Jonah Jang, key sponsor of Plateau massacre, must be arrested now. Security situation in Plateau State demand urgent action. Our fellow people of Nigeria, we express our heartfelt condolence on the loss of life in our beloved state, even as we pray that such disaster no longer befalls our dear nation. The kind of loss recorded in the state in matter of hours should not be the case, even in a declared war situation. It is encouraging that President Muhammad Buhari has promised that his administration will not rest until the murderers and their sponsors are brought to justice. It is a promise we have vowed to hold Mr. President to because of the sheer wantonness and mindfulness of the killing. Fulfillment of President Buhari's promise will ensure that bloodthirsty demons behind this evil are no longer to operate in any part of the country going forward. However, we believe that to be able to bring perpetrators of these heinous crimes to book, it is time to do away with political correctness and go after the sponsors that are already known to law enforcement agencies. To this end, we want to draw Mr. President's attention to the capability of the former Plateau State Governor, Senator Jonah Jang, in the recent outbreak of crisis in Plateau State. Senator Jang is embittered by the many court cases for which he is afraid he will end up in prison. It must be noted that these strand killings only began after his predecessors. Senator Joshua Dariye was sent to prison in spite of being a member of All Progressive Congress, APC. His fears were heightened by the knowledge that he is a guaranteed candidate for prison. As a member of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Senator Jang had also vowed to make the state uncomfortable for his successor and APC government. He further promised to stop Your Excellency from being re-elected in 2019, following which the PDP anointed him as a point man to whom much resources were assigned by some PDP chieftains in Adamawa and Rivers State to help him actualize his vow. What we have gathered is that Senator Jang vowed to extinguish the peace of Plateau State and replace same with anguish and despair. For this satanic purpose, he has earmarked the sum of 1 billion naira to arm youth and children for another round of violence after the killings in the state. It is common knowledge on the streets of the towns of Plateau State that former governor had used the assigned resources to procure arms and ammunition for hired thugs in the state. The rank of these thugs were further swollen with importation of machinery to carry out the recent attacks. This killing of innocent people is meant to undermine the credentials of the current administration at the center, which has security of life and property as a cardinal point of its agenda. The thinking is that once they can add Plateau State to other states where their bloodthirsty coven incessantly kills people, they will be able to accuse President Buhari of having failed to deliver of his election promises. It must be regrettably pointed out that human lives cannot and must not be devalued by making killing people part of a political game. While we appreciate the efforts of being made to ensure that there is a stop to the killing in Plateau State and the perpetrator brought to book, a good start is to immediately arrest Senator Jonah Jang to assist law enforcement agency with information on his role in the wanton waste of human life that was recorded in Plateau State. He will be useful in identifying other people that are smoking the fire of destruction. Those arrested in connection with the killing must be made to name those for whom they run errands. It is imperative that Mr. President gives a marching order for security agencies to search upwards in the hierarchy of the killing machine in Plateau State, so that the individual at the apex of the chain of command can be apprehended. We have no doubt that Senator Jang will be found at the highest level where Plateau State is concerned. It will then be left to be established how the national network of those creating a sense of instability operates. It is our fervent hope that President Buhari will give direction along the line that will ensure that Nigerians can live without fear that some politicians will unexpectedly cut their life short. However, we have resolved not to leave things to chances or rely solely on the discretion and resoluteness of President Buhari and the Nigerian state. Consequently, we are petitioning the International Criminal Court, ICC, citing the evidence at our disposal to immediately arrest and try Senator Jonah Jang for instigating crimes against humanity because of the role he played in Plateau massacre. We appeal to the people of Plateau State to be prepared to offer their testimony at the ICC because it is guaranteed way of ensuring that those that flooded their lands with blood of their relations are punished accordingly. Mrs. Jayeola Mohammed, Executive Director.